Hi everyone, welcome to the Smith & Sons podcast. My name's Max Peterson, I'm the CEO, and today I just want to put out some information as it relates to contracts. And, I really want to nail down, if you're going to engage a building company to do your renovation or custom home, that you've got something in writing. If you go to the Canadian Home Builders Association, we're members with the Canadian Home Builders Association here in the Okanagan Valley. They just talk about getting everything in writing. And I totally subscribe to that because, I don't know why that you wouldn't want to get it in writing, but I believe that, the agreement that we put together protects the homeowner and it protects the general contractor. And so, we're big advocates, of basically having everything in writing. And that goes for, throughout the process as well. If there's ever a situation where one of our clients needs to adjust something, what we found happens very often is that we'll go into a home that might not have a very open space and there's some interior walls and, they're non-load bearing. And so we might remove those. Clients then get such a great view of across the room. They might say, hey, we want a window out there. And of course, we're already into construction. We're under agreement. And of course, if we're going to make that modification effectively, we're going to do that using what we call a change order. And so again, everything that we do is in writing. And that basically ensures that there's no misunderstandings between the general contractor and the client and what they want. So, everything that we do at Smith & Sons is very much focused on delivering value to the clients. And when that's not necessarily that saying that we're going to be the cheapest, and I'm sure you've heard that before, but I've said this in previous podcasts that you get what you pay for. But we want to make sure that we deliver a positive experience. And so, we've got to make sure that all of our T's are crossed and our I's are dotted. We want to make sure that we've understood competently and coherently, the requirements and the requests of the client, and to make sure that we deliver, as we've promised. So, part of a written contract, so it's not just a one-page document that basically the builder and you sign. I think there's two types of contracts. There's obviously the cost plus arrangement, the time and materials plus a percentage. We subscribe to the fixed price quoting system and the fixed price building agreement. We know that our customers want that peace of mind and the security and, of course, the satisfaction from dealing with Smith & Sons. And so we want to make sure that we do a lot of the hard work up front. I think what we do is we get a lot of, we get a few inquiries every month that say, hey, I'm ready to go straight away. And unfortunately, usually we're not going to be able to get to that project straight away because A, we're busy, and B, we like to do a lot of the hard work up front. So if you can imagine that, a lot of the the discussion and the collaboration and all of the, really figuring out, your selections and what's important to you and what you want is all done up front, which is a very time-consuming process. But what we find is as time goes on, we find that because we've done all the work up front and we've really, put the selection list together and everything's in writing and the client is very satisfied, it's almost like they already have this very clear mental picture of what the end result is going to be. As we move through the build process over time, the almost the conversation around what happens in the construction process really is greatly reduced. And we know that, a lot of the cost plus arrangements are going to just start the building process. And then maybe a month into construction, the builder is going to come back to you and lean on you for, selections of all of your tap fittings or maybe your backsplash tiles or, your cabinet colors and your countertop types and things like that. And so the builder's kind of being restricted because the client or the homeowner is trying to make up their mind as to what they want. And really they're almost making decisions under duress. That is what we don't want. That's what we don't do. We will make sure that we know everything about your project and what it is that you want before we even get started in construction. And effectively, I would say to some clients, you could really, for your renovation, you could go on vacation for 3 months, and when you return, it'll be exactly what you had in mind. And that's the power of having it in writing. And so, part of the agreement that we have is that we have a list of specifications and inclusions. And, prior to getting to an agreement stage, in the quoting stage, we will give you a selection sheet. So a lot of our general contractors will go through and there's, we don't need you to sort of select what type of lumber or drywall, but things like, countertop colors and types and cabinets and door handles and interior doors and floor coverings and carpets and things like that, paint colors, where you want feature walls, those sorts of things which are very much your taste and what you want to see. You will get a selection sheet that you will basically be asked by our general contractors to confirm. And then what we're able to do then is we're actually able to go out and confirm the supply cost, the delivery cost, and the installation costs, which is basically how we come up with the fixed price amount. And so, the specification list could be, anything from several pages long to 10 pages long. It's a massive document, and it forms part of the building contract. If you haven't got that, it's all grey area and it's up for debate. And you might be forced into, if you're mid-construction under a cost-plus agreement, you might be forced into selecting something that you maybe don't want because of time. The builder's like, well, we can't get it now, so you're just going to have to go with, selection number B, which you may not really want, but you have to because you're under duress. And so, we really do spend a lot of time up front because I know that it makes, as a general contractor, it makes the build process a lot smoother, and it absolutely makes the ride or the journey for the clients a lot more enjoyable. And so, that's a big part of it, is having that specifications put together. The other benefit, of course, is that when we run our fixed price agreements, is the fixed price itself. I mean, when you're talking about peace of mind and security, to know that, what you're going to get and how much it's going to cost, that gives a lot of peace of mind and security to our clients. They enjoy that. And so I think that, having that number fixed, we often come up against, because we are fixed price quotes, we deliver fixed price quotes, and we, operate on a fixed price agreement. What we find is that we might quote, a bathroom for $20,000, and then someone, another, general contractor who operates on a cost plus arrangement might come and say, we should be able to get this done for $14,000 or $15,000. Well, immediately your attention is drawn to that because there's a saving. I mean, it's $5,000. What you need to understand is that when you go into an arrangement where they've just given you a ballpark estimate, you're under a cost plus, a percentage arrangement, then as the project exceeds the forecast budget, there's no grounds for you to argue the point. You've agreed to cost plus, and it costs what it costs, and then the builder puts his management fee on top of that, and you're sort of stuck with that. And so it could easily end up costing you $22,000. And so you would have been better off with a fixed price. So the unknown factor is where the security comes in. When you as a client know what you're getting, when you're going to start, when you're going to finish, what it's going to cost, therein lies what I would call a very valuable product. The other thing that should be written into the agreement somewhere is warranties and guarantees. Obviously, we use products within your projects, and occasionally there'll be product failures. So that would need to be written into the agreement somewhere as to go, okay, if there is a tap that leaks profusely, it's brand new, what do I do? Okay, you will contact the builder, and you will receive a response within 48 hours, and then a remedy will be delivered, within that 48 hours is how we're going to fix that problem. Those sorts of things, again, lends itself to helping our clients sleep at night as they move through the build process, and I think that's really important. If you haven't been to our website, smithandsons.ca, there is probably 8 or 10 video testimonials of clients. I would encourage you to go across there to just listen to some of what our clients have had to say about how they've been treated. And it's very exciting, encouraging for me to hear how our clients are looked after, to the point where they will literally sit there for 10 or 15 minutes and just chat to us about their experience. It certainly makes, prospective clients like yourselves, it gives you some insight into what you can expect from a building company like Smith & Sons. So, they're the sorts of things. So you want to have a fixed price agreement, which includes a fixed price number. The only reason that would increase would be if you decided to put that window in, or you wanted to make an adjustment, and there would be change order process. There'll be quotes for change orders. There'll be agreements signed for those change orders, and then that will form part of the contract as well. You obviously want a very comprehensive specifications list prior to going into the building agreement, prior to construction, because you want to know clearly that your builder has understood what it is that you want. because ultimately, our focus is your satisfaction. Our priority is your satisfaction. You want to make sure there's a completion date. I've had guys that have got on board with Smith & Sons and said they've never included a completion date on their building contracts. And I'm like, well, if I was a client, I want to know when you're going to get out of my job, when you're going to be finished my house or my renovation. So it's super important. And just a side note, I think a lot of the time, most of the guys that are involved with Smith & Sons right now never had what we call job management software. And so for us, a lot of them say, well, how do I calculate a completion date? Well, of course, what we've got built into our software is project management tools. And so we can put in a predetermined start date. We can then list out all of the tasks. We can then itemize each task and how long they would happen. Some of those will run simultaneously. Some of those will run in series. And then as we build the task list and we put in the duration and obviously the start date for that task, it extrapolates out to a completion date. And so there is not a lot of, there's no science involved. It's literally just a mechanical system by which we can have the process down the left-hand side, and then we can add in all of the times and the timelines that it takes to, implement. And of course, you've got trades that could be visiting the project 3 or 4 times to complete different scopes of work. So, completion date's super important to have built into your agreement, and of course, any of those warranties and guarantees that we talked about. So I trust that helps. It sheds a bit of light, hopefully, on the importance of getting it in writing. Like I said, Canadian Home Builders absolutely, recommend highly that you get it in writing. And so we follow on with that, and we subscribe to that also. And look, if you've got any questions that you might want to run by me as it relates to, and I don't mind whether it's, pre-contract or whether you're working with a builder in construction currently and you want some advice. I'm not a lawyer. I can give you my 2 cents worth. It will probably be worth what you pay for it. But it definitely, I've been in the game for 32 years now. And so, operating the company that we operate in British Columbia and Alberta, and having the experience of, being in the game for that much time, I can definitely probably maybe point you in the right direction anyway. Feel free to email me at max@smithandsons.ca, and I'll be happy to get back to you. If you like what you hear, or you might know someone who'd enjoy or benefit from this information, we'd love it if you'd share that with us as well. And of course, a like or a comment would really encourage us to keep on doing what we're doing. So we really appreciate your ear, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Cheers.